Okay, here we are with Home Time. Just want to grab a few early reflections just to start with. Can you guys tell me about the early childhood music you're into, like what sort of rock and roll you're into when you're growing up?
Bon Jovi.
Bit of Bon Jovi, yeah.
Slippery when wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a family show.
My first, when my dad was working, they had this Christmas party and they had vouchers for record stores and that they gave out to kids that were children of the workers for the STA, which was the bus service at the time. And so I went down to the Port Adelaide music store and I picked out my first ever record, which was Stripe It to Hell with the Devil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, it's my first
record
I ever bought. Yep.
Nice. You gave that a good thrashing?
I did give it a good thrashing when Mum let me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, what sort of bands for the underground were you into? Like, did you get any underground bands as well?
Yeah, at the underground. I guess my first favourite band that I ever saw here was Embodiment, when they were Embodiment, not Embodiment 1214.
Yeah.
And that was with the original lineup, I think.
Yeah.
And that was the craziest band I'd ever seen at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was
Did you see them here?
Yeah, saw them here. And they were playing with Ethereal Scourge.
Yeah.
So that was, so those two bands, I bought the Embodiment t-shirt and we bought the Ethereal Scourge CD and they got a good thrashing at the time as well. Yeah.
Nice one. And how many people were at that show?
Oh, I'm not sure. The place was pretty packed.
It was pumping.
Yeah, it was a benefit show. So,
I see. How did you see the scene, like the early scene when you were getting into it?
Oh, do you want to say anything?
Like how would you describe the scene before you were in the band, like in the band scene?
I don't know. I guess a lot more of the people were just here for music. A lot of people were just checking out sort of what was going on, seeing a lot more real music and stuff. There was a lot of the first bands I came and saw were like Four Iron and Seraph's Cole.
Yeah. And
it's just like when it was old, raw, everyone was young, sort of just playing, songs they had written and that. No real covers or anything.
Yeah. What sort of stuff were they doing on stage?
Just all sorts of crazy gear. Just the Seraph's boys are always mucking around and having a bit of fun, but they were always fun to watch. And as soon as they'd finish their set, they'd be out skating with you and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
Oh, really? Bit of back skating out the back.
Yeah, and on the street and everywhere else, getting in trouble.
Yeah. No, nice one. Good. And how did Home Time form? Like, how did you guys come together, like, from that? Start.
Well, I guess after being to that show, I sort of thought I really want to be in a band because just to be here and to feel the energy and everything, it was so exciting and to see that they were making a difference in young kids' lives as well.
Yeah.
And so I'd been writing songs before then, they weren't very metal, they were pretty bad, so a lot of love songs and that sort of thing. And I thought I should start writing songs with a bigger meaning than that, than your average love song. And so then just writing songs for our youth group because we were most of us from Gawler at the time, and so that original lineup actually started out of a youth group band. So we just wrote songs for our youth group, and then the guy that was looking after the youth group said we should record, and so we recorded that, but we didn't bring that CD for you because it's
terrible.
We're ashamed of it. It was our first album.
Do you remember what year did that come together?
97, I think. Yeah, and so then after that, we gradually, people that weren't really into the music that we were getting into, they sort of left the band, and the lineup that we got today is from what I can tell the perfect lineup that we've ever had. The best lineup.
The lineup's pretty set now.
Good. At the moment. So.
Oh, cool. So
cool.
What were the lineup changes?
Well, we originally had a guy called Matt Barnes as a drummer, and he was into jazz and swing playing, which didn't really suit punk, which is where that's where we went. We started playing a lot of pop punk, and then we wanted to move into some faster stuff, and so that sort of didn't suit his taste, but he also moved to Melbourne, got married, so that made it easy for us to replace him with Hannah Smith, which was our next drummer. We had a chick drummer, so she jumped on board and she was awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty good.
Nice, solid drummer, not too tricky, but just kept everything solid for us to play cool guitar stuff over.
Did she record that first?
Yeah, she recorded the first album with us, And so then Hannah got married as well, but before she left the band. Tyson, our bass player, which was Jade's brother, he was our bass player, but he listens to nothing but dance, and so when we started playing heavier stuff, he was pretty upset about that. So he left the band as well.
It was a bit funny to have all these people, everyone watching the band rock up to the gig, and then his like car would rock up with the dance net sticker on the side.
Yeah.
Everyone else was pretty metal.
Yeah, and he was the motionless bass player. No.
Those clashes.
Yeah. It wasn't really an
Not when
influence.
we wanted to write metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Metal-
that stopped us from
metal
going.
versus hip-hop
Yeah.
beats or
So
something.
that actually stopped us from progressing heavier at the time, which is what me and Jade wanted to do, but everyone else was sort of didn't want to go that way.
Yeah.
And so he left, and we had a fellow called DeVault. He came and played one show, and then we were too heavy for him too, I think. So he moved out, and then Levi.
It's over there.
Levi moved down here from the York Peninsula, and so he was studying media, and so we decided to give him an audition. He rocked up to the first audition and played the first 5 songs off our CD. Like, he'd only had a week's notice, so we could tell that he was keen.
Just nailed it.
Yeah, and so we were real happy with that. So,
Nice work.
so he joined the band, and then and we were all sort of into punk at the time, but we've all gradually gone, the slide
Yeah.
into metal.
Yeah. I
So-
could see that happening on your first record and your ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, stuck for a drummer.
Yeah, and then after that, Hannah got married, so she didn't really. It was a bit weird, like going on like tours and stuff with the girl.
Yeah.
So she had to have separate like accommodation and that sort of thing, and she couldn't handle us.
Paid with the boys.
Yeah, that's
Paid
right.
with rockers.
That's it, and they did. And so,
Yes.
and then Joel, he moved back down. He was formerly a student of mine, and not a drumming student, a school student, and he had moved to Queensland and then moved back, and we decided to give him an audition when we were looking for a drummer, and he doesn't actually have a drum kit, so he just jumped, he had a practice pad or whatever at home, was tapping it out on his pillow or something, and then rocked up to Nathan's place and played through our whole list of songs with improvements on a kit, having had no
Had
kit
some
to
nice
practice
ideas.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was committed. Once again, as one of those guys that rocked up, and me and Nathan just looked at each other and thought, yeah, this is the guy.
Yeah.
So,
Nice. Good. Can you tell me, well, you sort of have gone into it, but like, I heard a little bit about it before, but can you go into like the history of your band practicing? Like, tell me a bit about band practice. What does band practice mean for you guys?
oh, okay. Do you want me to say something? Jade
Yeah.
could say something.
You say something, Joe?
It's
pretty regular.
Stardom Williams.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, of course, we practice our own stuff in our rooms, I guess. You got to be good enough before you start sort of playing together, I guess. So, Aaron and I used to play together because we both played at the church and youth, everything, and he was my guitar teacher for a bit too. So, so we sort of kind of jam kind of buddies, if you would call it that. And so then when we got into the band, like playing as a band, I guess it was just natural. So we were used to playing together, so it was just it's just a matter of making sure everyone else played the right thing. But we practice. If we're gonna be doing gigs and that, we'll practice every week if we have to, and especially if we're recording or something. So.
What's practice like? Is everyone on time? Or?
Oh, it's pretty cash, but
Yeah, it's
we try to
good.
be on
Pick
time.
everyone
Aaron
up.
picks us all up.
So they all get to practice.
Yeah.
So you're pretty dedicated. He comes around and picks you up. That's good.
Oh, I don't pick up Jade. And
No.
don't pick up Levi anymore. I used to pick up everyone except for.
They've got cars now.
Yeah.
I used to catch a train for 2 hours.
Yeah. Levi's dedicated. Because he lives at Seaton and we practice at Gawler, and he used to catch a train.
Far out.
So,
2
yeah.
trains.
Dedicated band. Yeah, well, that shows dedication as well, just to get there.
We see the results of it. We have a good time when we play, and
Yeah.
if we get to do a trip, that's always, for me, they're the best experiences of my life, I reckon.
Yeah.
Is touring and playing.
The
So,
road trips and stuff.
yeah.
Usually out of that, we usually end up playing heaps tighter as well.
The
Like,
practice.
Yeah.
like more together.
You
And,
guys practice a week.
Oh, just the once.
Just
Yeah.
it's such
yeah,
a-
just one night a week.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So-
if you miss it, then you notice it when,
Yeah.
when you do
Yeah.
get together.
Yeah.
We do play ourselves more though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good. Once you get together, it's good fun, isn't
Yeah. So I guess we've all got church commitments and that sort of thing too. So
it? Yeah. What church do you guys go to?
I go to Paradise.
Yeah.
Paradise.
Yeah, I go to Paradise.
Aaron and I are from Northside.
I go to World Harvest.
Yeah, good. So it's a nice blend. So, Jen, how did you guys get to know each other? Was it through?
Aaron and I grew up together.
Shared a room for a while.
We're brothers,
like
so
brothers.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
that's how we got to know each other.
That's a good start.
Me and Jade grew up together at church, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met Levi at a Vans Warped Tour,
Yeah.
99 at Flinders University, I think it was. So we're both sort of into that, sort of back then. We're sort of both into the sort of punk rock sort of gear and all that scene, skating and stuff.
Yeah.
You just met him at a show.
Yeah. Just came down from Yorks and sort of knew some people I did.
Oh, I see.
And then
Yeah. I met him at a show that we played a show in Yorks that his former band played at.
Yeah.
And so, after the show, he came up and introduced himself, and then I met his mum as well. So, yeah.
his mum probably listens to more metal than what we all do.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah, she's more metal than us.
Yeah,
It's
right.
true.
She's the foundation of your band. So, cool. Can you just take me through some of the band achievements, like in the time? Like when did you start? Just like give me some dates. Like when did you start to when you to now? What are your sort of achievements as well as the records and stuff?
Okay, so I guess we started in '97 when we did our first sort of EP, and that was more like a demo when we listen to it now. But it was that was a great starting. You got to start somewhere, and so we were able to look back on that experience and look at what we wanted to improve as well, and get rid of, and what things we wanted to keep. And so, obviously, with the lineup changes over that time, we were teaching a few songs over the next couple of years to different people. Then in 2001, we did the other album, which was pretty cool. And just prior to that, we did our first Youth Alive tour, which was with, we started working with Scotty Hawkins, so we've been working pretty closely with him ever since. That was a schools tour, and then opening for the Paul Coleman trio, which was pretty unusual, playing punk and then having those guys. They said we made them feel like granddads. And after we played, probably everyone thought that too, except for the other older people that were there that would have appreciated it more than we did. But they were great guys and good fun to play with too. Then the following year, we did another. That's when Levi joined. We did another Youth Alive trip for South Australia, down Mount Gambier, and that was tip top. That was heaps good fun.
Different drummer.
Yeah, that was with Dan Hill. That was another one of our mates that filled in because our other drummer Hannah had to have an operation at the time, and so he filled in for that tour, that was pretty awesome. He did some shows for us during that period as well. Doing those sort of trips, saw lots of kids come to meetings and get saved and stuff, and for me that's the biggest joy of doing this whole thing, or the main reason we do it, because kids are going to listen to you if you play cool enough tunes. So we did that. We just had a great time in the schools there, and just on local news and all that sort of business. It's pretty exciting seeing yourself on TV.
Awesome.
So I must go back and say, even though it was a demo, the first CD on Life FM, which was Altamira at the time, on their heavy metal show, they used our first song as their intro track. With their speaking over top, so we're pretty thrilled about that. Every time we listen to it, we hear it coming. That's us.
That's us, boys.
Yeah. So it's a great feeling. You probably experienced it hearing songs on radio and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Then the following year, we did a Youth Alive road trip, which was throughout South Australia. So most of our stuff has been with Youth Alive. So that was a cool road trip that we did there. It was just mainly the country areas, and then when we came back to Adelaide, we did played at Paradise and then the South Side, and they were pretty huge crowds, so that was good fun playing at those. And then in July and August of that year, we toured Japan in Tokyo, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. So do you want to say a bit about that?
Yeah, that was it was pretty cool. That's probably the biggest thing we've done.